Hi, welcome back to Kolsky Drones. Today we're going to do the Parrot ANAFI Part 3. So this is my final conclusion and some flight footage.
Hi, welcome back. This is my final part of the ANAFI series. So this is the part 3. So what's going to come up, I'm going to give you my conclusions and what my final thoughts are on this drone. And then after this I've got some flight footage filmed in HDR and normal 4K 30 frames a second. And also some stability footage of how stable it was in the air. It looks a bit, it probably doesn't look as stable as it was. That's because I've got a bit of a shaky hand and the camera was shaking when I was filming it, hovering, but trust me, it was very, very stable. So, what's my final thought? It's a very, very nice drone to fly. It's probably one of the nicest drones I've ever flown. It is the easiest drone I've ever flown. If you film it in film mode, it's really steady and slow, and for any beginner to take it up in the air, they'd have absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. In film mode, being slow, you do get some nice images, and you don't get an issue with the gimbal only being a 2-axis gimbal, because flying it slow, it doesn't really affect the fact it's not got the 3rd axis, because the image stabilisation is quick enough to cope with that. If you fly it fast, the image stabilisation can't keep up, and you do get a bit choppy when you're going left to right if you're going fast. But it's not an issue. The camera quality, yeah, I thought it was fantastic. HDR to me looks soft. If you play it back on a HDR TV directly into the TV, it looks a bit soft. Fantastic image though, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it isn't. It just looks a bit soft to me. The normal 4K 30 frames a second image, as good as anything I've seen. It's extremely light, it's extremely portable. You probably saw the video where I got the budget case for the controller, which makes it much easier to put around and stick it in your backpack, stick it in your glove box, whatever. Makes it much easier. It's extremely quiet, and if you let the IMU warm up and if you take off straight away, this thing will drift slightly. Not too bad, but it will drift. If you let the IMU warm up, I found it doesn't drift at all. That is from a launch off the floor. Hand launching, I don't know how good it'd be, but you're still letting the IMU warm up, and any drone's good. But on this one in particular, I've noticed you don't get any drift at all. It might just be mine, but I had slight drift before. When I first got it and I flew it outside my house, it drifted. Yesterday, when I flew it again, a couple of times I set off, no drift whatsoever. So let the IMU warm up. It's good practice on any drone. So, they're the things I really like about it. So the things I don't like about it is they need to fix the return to home height. The worrying thing is when I contacted Parrot about this, their email was quite curt. They didn't seem to care that was an issue, and they had no plans to resolve that. Return to home height of 20 metres is not acceptable. It's just not. It needs to be fixed on a firmware update. There's no update on this as yet. I haven't been notified of an update. There doesn't appear to be one. To me, it's a simple app update. I might be wrong, but it seems simple to me, and so something really simple to fix. So that to me is an issue. The fact it's not got a 3-axis gimbal now doesn't bother me in the slightest, provided you film in filming mode, and you're not going to throw it about in sport mode and film anyway. Well, you might do, but you're going to get a bit of a choppy footage. But really, my Mavic Air, if I throw it around at full speed, the gimbal can't keep up. The Phantom does, the Mavic Air can't. So that's not an issue. It's not something that needs fixing. Obstacle avoidance, it doesn't bother me. It'd be nice if it had it, but it doesn't really bother me. Which brings me to my conclusion. Yes, it's a nice drone, but it's overpriced. It should be more like 500. If it was 500, I'd say I'd recommend this all day long. But because it's not £500 and it's not got obstacle avoidance, it's not got a 3-axis gimbal, I just think it's overpriced. If you buy one, you won't be disappointed with it. I don't think you will be. I know a lot of people, I've been on forums and a lot of people, it's very divided. People love it, or they want to send it back, or they have sent it back because of various reasons. People are worried about how frail it is. I certainly am not worried about that. The fact it's got flexible arms is a good thing, not a bad thing. And the only other negative I've got to say is, you've got to be careful what phone you use. It doesn't seem to like some phones. it chops up, it breaks up. I've got a, is that how you pronounce it, Hawaii phone? If I use that, I can't get very far on it before it chops and breaks up. If I use my LG phone, it's absolutely fine. So that needs to be addressed. And the other thing that I find bizarre is why they only made it that you could fit a smartphone into the controller, and why they didn't give you some option to mount a tablet to it. Now there is places you can get them from. I haven't seen one in the UK yet, but if you look on the forums, I can't remember the name of the people that sell them, but in America you can get them, and they do look really nice. They're made 3D printed, but they're made out of that 3D printer stuff that's very flexible, and it does look a really nice holder for your tablet. I think it's $20 for the large one, but surely shouldn't they give that option when you bought it? Shouldn't you have it with it for that money? For 629 quid, wouldn't you expect it to come with it? I probably would, but then again, I will buy some kind of tablet holder for it because I prefer flying with a tablet than a phone. But that's just my preference. You don't need to. And also, if you've got a phone that hasn't got a flat back, so some of the newer phones don't. The LG doesn't, for instance. It won't stay in the holder. You'll have to manufacture something to put it in a bit of tape or a bit of double-sided Velcro or something to make it just stay in there. Or do what I do and just fly, sit down and fly with the phone on my knee and the controller in my hand and the cable going to it. Not ideal, but that's what I did to fly it yesterday. So I am going to include some footage now. There's not that much of it. I've only got like 5 or 6 minutes worth. I've chopped it down, took out some bits just so you can see the differences, and I've done a return to home on it. The return to home was ridiculously accurate. It was really impressive, its return to home. I've seen some videos where it didn't return to home well. I have no idea why. I've tried it a couple of times now and it returns to home very well. So thanks for watching. If you've subscribed, thank you ever so much. I'm up 240 now. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I've got a lot of stuff coming up over the next few days, weeks, months of drones, and hopefully you're going to like them. Enjoy the video. But bear in mind when you're watching it, you're going to watch it in 1080 because it's been filmed in 4K, but I am going to upload it in 1080 to YouTube, so you're going to notice some differences. But you're going to notice that it probably doesn't look as good on a 4K TV. You think, well, it's in 4K. No, because it isn't. But I can assure you the video quality is really nice, and you won't be disappointed. So, overall, if you want one, don't be disappointed. If you're thinking about this between this and a Spark, there's no contest. This is better than a Spark. Thinking about this between this and a Mavic Air, that's your decision and your decision alone to make. To fly, I prefer flying that. So I prefer flying this than the Mavic Air. This is nicer to fly. DJI fanboys are probably going to say otherwise, but unless they've flown one, how would they know? I've flown both and I think this flies better. So thanks very much again for watching. Enjoy the video and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day and get some flying done over the weekend.